is good, YouTube? We are back for another episode of the Rocket series. If you guys missed the last one, check it out. A link to it will be down in the description below, man, and in the top right hand corner. This team, we made the Western Conference Finals and we've been killing it. All that hindered us was some injuries, man. But guys, we are back, and today we are going through the offseason. If you guys want to see the 2023 season opener, smash that like button. Let's get 120 likes for that banger. It's gonna be a big one. And we're making moves, man. This team's been going out work and like, bro, practice, we've been going crazy. We've been going crazy in practice with Cade and, you know, Kevin Porter Jr. just setting that tone. Those guys showed up, and even Baldwin is getting some action as well. And if we made it that far last season with all them injuries, with being a young team, I think that this episode, if we make the right moves, we could get right back there with even more assets. Starting this thing off, we're leaving the NBA alone and getting straight into the draft lottery. We talked about potential trades, yo. I want to make one. We do not own that Washington pick, and we actually walk away with the 13th pick from Brooklyn, which really sucks. And we have the 27th pick, and those are the real picks that we have in real life. Starting off in the draft, we see Russ and Beal get Imani Bates. And then we see Victor and Trae Young. Oh my gosh. Those are some new teams I don't really want to see. I ain't gonna lie to y'all boys. I do not want to see that at all. But heading to pick number 13, we see this as a play to draft the best player regardless of position and trade it away. And that guy could be Dior Johnson. Dior Johnson projects to be the best player here. And we go ahead and we pick him up with the 13th overall pick, with hopes of moving that man. We do have a trade in place with the Clippers, and Dior is a 76 overall, which he could be great on our team. He projects to be a all-star, but we don't need a point guard, so we can flip that man for one of those players that we talked about 2 episodes ago, and a guy that I want after we trade that 27th overall pick. A guy that I want on this team so bad, man. I want to go after Kawhi Leonard or somebody on that Clipper team. I think would be the best option for us. I mean, that was the actual worst team in the entire league. The Clippers were terrible this season. And after we signed Dior, first off, we bring in everybody back because some of those guys could be used in trades. We have so many young players on this team that could be really good building blocks. We want to make a trade. And like I said before, we thought about De'Aaron Fox. We thought about Beal and all these other guys. But the only team that makes sense for a trade is the Clippers, getting Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, we want to swing at Kawhi first, which I wouldn't say it's impossible, but we throw in Dior, we throw in Io, we throw in... I was thinking about Keon Johnson for this trade because it is Kawhi Leonard. He's a 93 overall. Somebody that would be hard for these guys to actually move in. You know, the Clippers just not rocking with this trade, man. And I think that this is a lot. They get to rebuild their entire franchise and they're not going for it. Eventually, we decided why not go after Paul George, but to lighten up this offer a little bit, because even though Paul George is amazing, they'd be more willing to give up Paul George. So we trade Watson, Io, Dior, Eric Gordon. This is a trade that we can get down with. They don't really want to take it. We say, yo, we could throw in more. And we could throw in some draft picks as well. Not high draft picks, because we just gave you guys a lotto pick that's going to be very good. But we go ahead and we trade for Paul George, which to me is not the craziest thing at all. Paul George, they don't want to pay that man the rest of his contract. He's leaving. He wants to hit the strip clubs in Houston, and he's an 86 overall, which could help us out a lot. We also decide that we want to bring back Christian Wood. Now, Christian Wood wanted a massive bag that we can definitely negotiate with. Like, I don't want to pay C. Wood $1 billion or nothing like that. I ain't trying to pay him $35 million a year. You know, we could talk this thing through and kind of meet somewhere somewhat in the middle, and we actually do. Another guy is Jae'Sean Tate. Jae'Sean Tate, we're just gonna give him his money. He wants about $14 million a year the last season, and I'm actually okay with paying him that. He's probably gonna be a role player now, but I'm definitely cool with doing that. And with that said, we go ahead, we re-sign Wood, Tate, and we let Kelly walk, which to me is not the biggest thing. We picked up Paul George. Isaiah Todd is coming back, and getting straight into player progressions, man, Paul George done went down. They clocked this man at an 83 overall, which for me really sucks, but I would still make that trade mainly because Paul George, he's a Hall of Famer. Paul George is a veteran. He's a Hall of Famer. He can still provide a lot for us, and I still think that that was a good trade on our part, and the Clippers taking it as well. They get to rebuild. They get a point guard that they need, and I believe on that team they have Gary Trent, so many other wing players to where it made some sense. So now training camps, we do want to hit Paul George with that athleticism camp. That is a must. We want to get that guy back to being as close as what he used to be as possible. I think that this team can compete. If we were able to make it that far, the Western Conference Finals with this team with no center at all, I think that with a Paul George, we would be better. And Paul George does get better. And the plan is not to play him at shooting guard. It's to play that man at small forward. And he does go up back to an 86 overall at small forward, which helps us out tremendously. So I like that move. And my dream lineup is to run Cade, Kevin Porter Jr., PG, Baldwin, and Christian Wood. That gives us the most defense, the most athleticism, and some killers. I mean, say what you want about Paul George. He's somebody that can mentor Cade. Cade has been mentored by John Wall. Getting that mentorship from Paul George, who is a Hall of Famer, is not a bad thing. And having guys off the bench like Keon Johnson, he gets more minutes now. He's a winning player. Guys like that, guys like Tay, KJ Martin, Isaiah Todd, Quentin Grimes was really good for us last season. And of course, we have a few filler players, but overall, I like what we have in this team, and the power rankings are saying that we're going to be a top 5 team in the NBA. I really hope that they are right. But the Lakers, John Wall joined the Lakers with Braun and AD and Trez. Not a bad choice for him, but I think that we can beat all of these teams just with the pieces that we have. And Paul George wasted no time in practice. He went in and he showed us that he still has it, playing elite level defense, elite level offense. And look, I think PG is gonna really enjoy his time in Houston. He is the perfect player that we needed, and he's a guy that won't take away shots. He's gonna be the third option for us, probably behind Cade and Porter. Wood is cool. Look, Wood is cool as long as he get paid. Regardless, guys, we have a really nice team on our hands. Go ahead and predict where we finish off next season. Last year, we were the 6th seed, but it was close. I think this season, we could definitely be a top 3 seed. No cap. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm dropping the season opener in a few days, y'all. I think that this team is so underrated. And let me know how you guys grade that Paul George trade. I really like it. We didn't give up, nothing crazy, and both sides kind of won. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, y'all.